Is there any money involved? Anybody owed any money?
Let me.
That man, Dr. Brian, messy as hell.
I have paid 100% of every contract I've ever had.
Wow.
I don't have any. When I tell you,
Keyword, contract.
sleeping with our guest, I have never, ever slept with a castmate. I've never, ever slept with a guest. And then there's one that I don't want to say on your podcast. And I
just say it. We here.
I'm here for the drama. Just say it. Please let it out.
I have personally never had sex with a handicapped person. And this may not be that they're mentally not there. They can give consent.
Right.
But maybe they got their leg amputated. Maybe their arm is from a stroke. Point where, I don't internet beef. That's not my thing. It's not something I want to do. It's never something how I want to come across. I never want to go back and forth with anybody on the internet. That's not.
Yes.
And
in
so,
the world of Drake's, BJ Cole.
Yeah, just
stay away from.
And so
be at peace.
And so
that sounds legit. Just knowing that this is like one of the first appearances that he's made or even talked about it since everything happened. So
what I want to do, man, is just talk about me, talk about my journey, talk about my story in a way that is uplifting her, hopefully, and encouraging. And even if it comes out clunky, man, sometimes this stuff is clunky. You know what I mean? And then maybe somebody can relate to that. So that's why I wanted to come here and just chat with you about it a little bit.
No, I'm grateful. Is there any money involved? Anybody owed any money?
Let me. That man, Dr. Brian, messy as hell. You see, he went straight to, is it any money involved? We need to know the real juicy part of this story. I appreciate you talking about your childhood and your trauma. What you owe?
Let's
deal with it all.
Let me say this to you.
Yes.
Messy.
I have paid 100% of every contract I've ever had.
Wow.
I don't have any. When I tell you,
keyword, contract. We'll talk about it in a second.
I don't owe nobody. Nobody.
Yeah, right.
But I started tonight's conversation, and I've never gotten a loan. I've never gotten sponsorship. I've never had an investor, nothing. Everything that we've produced has been out of my own dime, my own hard-earned money. And I'm not sitting here like trying to brag about this, but I take pride in being. We've had over 100 different guests on tonight's conversation, and everybody who's had a contract to be paid has been paid.
Contract, once again, let me go ahead and talk about this before I forget what I'm going to say. When you have contracts out there, he said specifically contracts. I do believe Keita Rose was just a crash out homegirl. Hey, I need you to do this. Hey, I need this to kind of be done. You were never really established a legit contract for what you thought you was paid for. Now, I'm pretty sure she had a contract early on because she stated how much she gotten paid prior. But I think the people who had legit contracts or the people he deemed most valuable, he gave them the money that they were contracted on. He said that he flew out people. They got paid accordingly. But some of his team members, I don't know how many, whether it was just Keita, whether it was Randy, y'all didn't have legit contracts. If the man said that he paid out contracts, you got to listen to the key words when you hear that contract.
Our podcast.
I'd like to have a contract.
I know, right? And I'm going to tell you this. Because what a lot of people on the internet don't know, a lot of time, most podcasts, sometimes you got to pay them to get on the pod.
Yes.
And so our podcast becomes a lot of people's first actual paid gig to get on there. So I don't owe anyone any money.
And let me say thank you for not charging me to call. I just want to put it on record. Thank you. I'm just glad you came out the goodness of your heart.
I know, right? But like, it's a thing. Like, I think it's a thing. Not only when I do, let's say I did a shoot in
October. You could have definitely charged for that interview since it's being a hot topic.
October. And I think we had brought 17 influencers. Not only were they paid a daily rate, we flew them all out to Dayton and we lodged them for 3 days.
Wow.
And I mean, not to get too heavy in that, but you're talking about North, you're in the 6 figures and that's how much that shoot costs when you think about the talent and everything. Right. We pay people here. And so the most egregious thing outside of all the other things is that because I pride myself on that.
Yeah.
I would pride myself on that. Anybody that's saying otherwise, if there was a discrepancy anywhere, there's always the opportunity to come speak.
Yeah.
There has never been someone emailing us or messaging us about a missed payment because, maybe a check got lost in the mail. Speak up to somebody and we would have handled it. But
in the mail, we still mailing out checks. What about the HCH? Everything should be HCH at this point. Mailing a check, that's a little suspicious. But
on our end, we have paid every single person. Everyone has been paid their negotiated rate for every tour appearance, every podcast session.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the future of tonight's conversation?
The future of tonight's conversation is to continue the conversation.
Okay.
It's to continue how we started, which is providing a platform for emerging and budding voices to join seasoned voices. That's how it all started. And we're going to continue that. Tonight's conversation is oftentimes an opportunity for someone to springboard. You know what I'm saying? Come on here, put your work in.
Launching pad.
And it's your launching pad.
Yeah.
The way we tour with 6 to 8 influencers every single show. All right. And 6 to 8 people getting paid on stage. Then we have our production team, our sound team, our staff. So at some point, somebody might want to launch off and do something different. And we celebrate that. And then that opens a chair for another voice.
Yeah.
We do our studio shoots. We bring in 17 to 20 new influencers every time we do that because it's about the conversation being diverse, different. But then also, hey, you never know. You might find this person is a hidden gem. That person is a hidden gem. So it's to continue the conversation.
No, that's great.
Yeah, it's to continue it.
That's great.
I do believe Keita was the crash out friend. If she claims that she was not paid accordingly and she had a whole bunch of IOUs, he didn't look at you as valuable. He didn't put you on a certain contract. So you was always an IOU employee. Always giving you the IOU. Oh, I got you. I got you on the back end. Just wait. You were never put at the value point. So like I said, it goes back to it being Keita's fault by not setting up an actual contractual agreement that then can be done with legal action.
Is there, I want to know, outside of those two issues, what did you read that put you in shock and awe or the fetal position? Like, come on now, y'all.
I'm gonna say this one. A whole bunch of stuff. The one that caught me off guard the most, because I've absolutely prided myself, is sleeping with our guest. I have never, ever slept with a castmate. I've never, ever slept with a guest. Ever.
Yeah.
He put a lot of emphasis on ever. That might not be true. Keita did say that he was sleeping around with some of the panelists. We will have to see if any more details come out.
And I've prided myself. Before all this stuff started, I was talking to one of my other friends who does podcasting as well. And, it's always, it'd be like the podcast talk and, blah, blah, blah. And I remember speaking to her and I'm like, nah, I've never. Like, it's just something I've never done. Because mostly I was in a relationship as well.
But that
I would love to think now, but also it's just a strict boundary of mine. When we do and my bad for getting so detailed, when we do our shoots at my house in Dayton, it's 3-day shoots. We do 8 episodes every single day, 8 45-minute episodes. Guess who don't get a break? Me. I'm down in that basement 8 hours a day for 3 days. I barely get to speak and connect.
Wow.
The other people, they get to go and fraternize and this, and then they'll go out to eat. I'll go out to eat with them, pay for it. Then I go home and sleep. On tour, the cast get to show up when it's time to do the show. Guess
Nobody
what I got?
volunteers for the cleanup committee.
I got to be there at 9 a.m. and do this and do that and do that. So it's like, I think that was the one that was the one that I felt. And I had to talk to somebody and they were saying, your reputation isn't yours. It ain't yours.
Wowee.
Because it's like, you can spend years trying to build a reputation and in one video,
get tarnished.
It's gone.
Yeah.
I will say this, when you are the leader, you don't have as much time as everybody else. That's why I say, man, when you say someone is doing this and doing that, this man probably had to apply so much time and pressure to himself to make sure that videos got out, teams were on point. If he was doing any egregious behavior, the most he had time for was probably getting head in the bathroom. Just being honest. Probably head in the bathroom real quick, 5-10 minutes, boom, knock it out. He probably could bust cheeks real quick. But when it comes down to all this, extra stuff, you on the go too much. Now, like you said, if you have a moment of downtime, possibly, but when you the leader, you the leader and you own it. And people don't understand what it takes to really be a leader of something that you have to create and make sure it flourishes, because everybody else just waiting for their check. They don't care if it fall apart, because guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna go to the next thing. But when you the boss, you got to make sure it thrives.
Yeah.
The payment thing was one, and then the last thing that really caught me off guard and that I really hate was the accusation that I weight shamed anybody. I have never, ever, ever, ever commented on a woman's weight.
Wow.
Ever commented. And guess what? Every recording we have, just like everybody else, I don't know if y'all do it here, you always have the live mic and the live camera over there just to make sure. I'm sitting down. Like that one was one that floored me too. And then there's one that I don't want to say on your podcast. And I
just say it. We here.
I'm here for the drama. Just say it. Please let it out. It's going to help us all.
Because let me first say this. The reason I don't want to say it because I felt that it was a disgusting thing to do or say, because I believe handicapped people, if they're mentally able, can have a routine, normal sex life. I was a nurse for 10 years. I've met people with all sorts of disabilities.
Wow.
Doesn't mean that you're not mentally capable of having the decision to have sex, and that you may not be attracted to an able-bodied person.
Right.
Attracted to an able-bodied person. But
he did get accused of having sex with someone that was basically handicapped. This is what he's expounding upon at this moment. Okay. He was accused of it.
Have personally never had sex with a handicapped person. And not that offended me, the accusation. It is the demonization of someone that's handicapped.
Wow.
Like, even if I did, if this person is mentally able to consent to sex. So like,
but that requires maturity.
Yeah, but
and a lot of the internet don't have that.
That's why I said most stuff on the internet, I chalk it up, because I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna defend the internet. I've made a living on the internet. I've enjoyed the good side of it.
Yes.
The middle sides of it. And this is probably the less favorable side of it.
Yeah.
But
all
of it,
the bones.
It comes with it comes with it. And it's sensational to hear people say that. It's sensational, and I get it. But I just felt bad for handicapped people, man.
Yeah.
Like,
man,
the whole
your heart is great.
My bad for talking. Because now you done got me going. I used to take care of people that couldn't take care of themselves.
Jeez.
I used to
talk to Brian.
And this may not be that they're mentally not there. They can give consent.
Right.
But maybe they got their leg amputated. Maybe their arm is from a stroke.
Ooh.
And I seen these people every single day. And now
I definitely don't think he was about to cry right there.
It's like, it's not even about me. It's about how we gonna villainize, how we gonna make that as a butt of a joke.
Yeah.
And so I've had to, now let me tell you this, and I promise I'm done talking after this. I've had to come to grips with just tapping out of that energy.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying my best not to go in where that energy is.
And that's a decision.
Yeah, because it's so many other places my energy is needed. But those were some of the things. I mean, there's a mountain of other things.
I'm gonna speak on the handicap situation. I feel like handicapped people should be able to get busted down if they want to. If they're in their right mind, if they're like, okay, somebody who had a stroke, that's a little bit different. Amputee, a little bit different. Now, if you really out of your mind, or if you have like a Down syndrome type of thing, that's a little bit different. But yeah, like I said, Keita used a lot of shaming language and a lot of shaming tactics. It was very egregious what she was doing. I don't believe it was fully warranted because it's always three sides to the story. So I can only hear what he's saying, but if that's an extreme one right there. Now, hey, this man could have, I don't know. He could be freaked out like that, but he said he did it. I can only go off that.
I mean, the accusation about homosexuality is not new to me. That's what people want to do to me on the internet to try to discredit me. They want to say, you know, I was raised by my mother.
Right.
I mean, in a village of women. So I grew up with quote unquote feminine mannerisms.
Right.
So it's nothing new. All throughout middle school, high school, they always.
But
the
you
first
got
thing,
self-awareness.
yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
okay. That one don't bother me as much because it's like that's what everybody want to say against me. But those are some of the things that kind of bother me. But most of all, I'm gonna tell you the biggest thing that bothered me. The biggest thing that bothered me is and I'm gonna be careful. I feel betrayed.
And that's an honest emotion.
Your team.
I feel betrayed.
Yeah, boy, your whole team that made money with you, they definitely flipped the script on you. I will say your camaraderie, they didn't hold you down. They did not hold you down because they ate with you. It's a little bit different if they didn't eat with you. They ate with you, and then they all kind of came back to start being a vulture and pick your skin apart. It is fire what they did. I'm not even gonna lie, regardless whether his tactics was a little off. They didn't hold him down.
Legitimately so.
That's it.
And you were. It ain't a feeling.
I feel it.
It's a fact. Yeah. Monuments are never built in honor of critics.
Yeah.
You have built something great. And
Oh, can I say one more thing?
you say two things.
Say two things. Yo.
Again, I've been on the side of the internet a few times.
Yeah.
So not trying to overreact, but I've poured so much into it
Yeah.
to see how fast people were willing to believe certain things.
Without pause.
It made me think that that's how they already felt about me.
Not
And-
necessarily.
That's
That
probably
seed
true.
had to be dropped.
Yeah.
And one things that we have to do.
They already didn't like you. Keita already explained upon that when she first met you. She said y'all was friends, but at the same time, she said she already had her downsides on your character, on who you was. She ain't like you from the jump. Probably all of them didn't like you from the jump, but guess what they all saw? They saw you as a winner. They saw that you had the mentality to build something great. See, they knew the vision. They saw the vision behind you, but they needed you to lead them along the way. But they probably didn't like you. They probably was, bruh, I had people do that with me. That's why that comment just hit with me. There's people that don't like me, but they see the vision. They see my mentality, and they say, "Oh man, this dude is definitely trying to be on it." But they don't like me behind the scenes.
Is not digest that negative thought. My sister's a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to Dr. Tamer. She said 4 people will see you today
Mm-hmm.
and say to you, I like that white shirt you got on.
Mm-hmm.
The 5th person will come and say, why you got Palm Angel on the front of your shirt? You just showing off flossing. You will walk away and you won't remember what them 4 people said.
That's a good point.
But you go all day long, man, I shouldn't have worn this Palm Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm saying to you, there are more people with you.
Yeah.
You still got a second thing. We
Yeah.
still on that first one.
Uh-huh.
But I wanted to park here just to say to you,
Mm-hmm.
that there's a whole lot of people who cheering for you.
And I also want to say that in this space, I'm finding spaces where I can find the accountability here.
Yeah.
And I don't want to come off insensitive to the fact that there is some growth needed somewhere on my part
Yeah.
in places. And when we have this discussion, and I've been having a hard time articulating because, you know, the level of what I'm dealing with here, it can make it hard for me to find the spaces where I could have improved, right? But I am on a mission to find those places because I believe there is always a lesson to learn somewhere.
Agree.
So I want the listeners and the watchers to understand that I am on a mission to find where it is that even in this ugly situation that I can improve as a person.
Yeah.
And I can use this as a catalyst to now help other people and also hopefully avoid being in a situation like this again.
Well, you won't.
I know, right?
I know, as long as that camera keep rolling,
I know, right?
It is bound to happen. In the words of every black grandmother, they talked about.
It's not about the camera. It's just about how you handle business and handle the things that you're supposed to do in your life. When it comes down to business, I think that, like I said, he stated about the whole contractual agreements. I think just some of the people that he had close to him that was supposed to be like the friends, you didn't treat them like you treated the outsiders, the people who flew in, who were more, I guess, paid guests. You should have treated your team more like them. And then things like this when it came out. But I feel like everybody had trauma on that team. It was really a situation of being tonight's trauma instead of tonight's conversation. Let me know what y'all think about this situation. I want to release this in like a 2-part situation because some of his religious childhood traumas, I actually want to talk about that. I'm going to put that in a part 2 to this video. But let me know what y'all think about Dr. Bryant's interview with him. And y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is JayBReacts. Until next time, y'all. Peace.